Here in Uniontown. What a very confusing maze we must work through these days in search of quality health care that is both accessible and affordable. The choices can indeed be overwhelming, but aren't you glad the choice is yours? This is still America, and in the land of the free, your right to direct your health care services is protected by federal law. I believe this is especially important to know when your needs include in-home health care providers. For well over 2 decades, thousands of folks just like you have chosen a well-trained team of Abby's in-home caregivers and healthcare providers. When you need care, we hope you'll choose Abby too. However, it's your right to choose your provider of care. That's what this message is all about. To learn more, call Abby at 724-439-2229 or 439-0667. Again, I'm Connie Slampack, and this message has been brought to you by Abby, your local hometown healthcare team.
Look, and you'll see there's a whole new Ford for you.
We're pleased to announce that it's Truck Month and SUV season at Thurby's Riverside Ford. That means special financing and Truck Month deals on new Ford SUVs and trucks. Have you been thinking about a new Ford F-150 four-wheel drive XLT? Take advantage of 1.9 financing for 72 months through Ford Motor Credit. Listen up. All new 24 Ford Super Duties and Mavericks have started to arrive. We've got the hard-to-get vehicles in stock. And for SUV month, the new 24 Escape, Explorer, Edge, Bronco and Bronco Sport, and the iconic Ford Mustang have arrived just in time for their Auto Show month and SUV season. We have the inventory in stock and on the way. Thurby's Riverside Ford, your presidential award-winning dealer located 1 mile past Lady Luck Casino on Route 40. See Joey, Sammy, Jimmy, or Ashley. Offer ends March 31st, 2024.
For funeral services from pre-need to at-need, burial or cremation, call Gates Funeral Home and Crematory, located at 136 North Gallatin Avenue in a beautifully restored historic home. Family owned and operated by Rick Gates, former Brownsville resident and Guyville alumni, the Gates Funeral Home and Crematory offers warmth, convenience, affordability, and ample parking. With a knowledgeable funeral director and compassionate staff, the Gates family and the Gates Funeral Home and Crematory are ready to assist you.
You can go to Big Box Medical Office.
Now serving number 3943.
Or,
hi, come on in. How are you feeling?
when you see doctors Paul Hartley and Mary Beth Riley, plus nurse practitioners Tara Bozek, Jessica Reckart, and Stacy Morris, you get one-on-one personal professional health care serving the area for over 3 decades. If you're looking for a primary care doctor, call Doctors Hartley and Riley at 724-437-1109 or online at ppcp.org. Or
serving number 3940.
Are you noticing your house getting a little drafty? Use your tax refund and call Monarch Windows and Doors. Family owned and operated with over 20 years experience, Monarch Windows and Doors can make your home warm again. Monarch Windows and Doors only use their own employees, no subcontractors. They are BBB accredited and offers military discounts. Call Monarch Windows and Doors and find out what they could do for you. 412-215-8116. That's 412-215-8116, or see Monarch Windows and Doors on Google or Facebook.
The views and opinions presented by the host, guest, or callers on this program do not necessarily represent the position of WMBS Radio. The following is a paid political presentation. Candidates may have provided all or some questions to the host and may or may not take phone calls. WMBS and the host do not endorse any political candidate on air during a paid political presentation.
This land of ours is under attack. Time has come, we're gonna take it back. Just wait and see. Don't tread on me. I won't sit back, stand idly by. Watch the heart of my nation die. Oh, not me. Don't tread on me. Don't tread on my Bible, don't tread on my guts. Don't you tread on my faith in God's only Son. Don't tread on me. Don't tread on me. Better leave me alone.
Hey everybody, this is Jon Marietta and I am the Hillbilly. And today's show is being brought to you by Monarch Windows and Doors, Miles' Garage and Tire Center, PatriotsOnline.com, Fayette County Recovery, Storage and U-Haul, Country Motor Sales, Tactical Civics, White Mountain Logging, Solid Foundation Ministries, New Life Free Methodist Church, Highline Motorsports. Go out and see Greg. He always has something for sale out there. Go see him. He's got different kinds of quads and motorcycles, and he might even sell you a stock car if if you got enough money. Gun Owners of America, Hillbilly Jon Radio. And don't forget to get on YouTube and check me out. And Jon Marietta for We the People and the Fayette County Renegade. We're just going to say the Fayette County Renegades. And I have Geno back with me today. And Geno, how's the greenhouse sales going?
Oh, good. We're getting into our season. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, we're starting our season. Actually, we're selling a lot of garages and sheds, and we got a guy coming in to buy a run-in building for a mule, and I'm going to be in the market for one too. We just got a donkey, so we got to get that straightened out for us. We're just so it's that time of the year. So, folks, if you need a garage, a building, or interested in a greenhouse, those will slow down for the summer now.
A garage.
But a garage, we got a special one out there. It's around 10.5, a two-bed garage.
And they're doing the greenhouses. And I'll tell you what's neat about that. You'll be able to. I can't wait because you'll be able to raise tomatoes in December. We'll be able to Christmas tomatoes. And when I worked in the grocery store when I was younger, I remember that was one of the biggest things for Christmas that tomatoes was a big thing.
Oh yeah, well.
And that was pretty cool. So, anyways, hey, I'm gonna start out from a verse from Proverbs. It says, "Speak up and fairly defend the rights of the needy I can't even remember my writing today. And the needy. The other thing is, I got a quote from Napoleon. War is when your government tells you who the enemy is. Revolution is when you figure out for yourself. Okay, we're gonna start with a couple of things. I wanted to start out with that. I have Greg on the line. He wants to give us an update on the election thing, what we're doing right now. You with us, Greg?
I'm here, John. Hi, Geno.
Hey, Greg.
So you want to give us a brief recount of what we're up to and what we're doing?
Sure. We received an order. I was kind of aggravated. I guess we were on the show last week, and I had my dander up. But in a nutshell, we received 3 orders from President Judge Luskin on the common pleas of Fayette County. And one was with regards to the May 2023 election recount. That's the one that Jon Marietta, Geno Gallo, and myself are on. And then we received 2 orders for the November 2023 election recounts. Basically, they denied the recounts. What was peculiar to me is that there's no statutes quoted in the orders. And the reason that's important is because what he says in the orders is there's no prima facie evidence of election fraud. And that's a specific statute, 3163 under the election code. And we didn't use that statute. We asked for recounts on the 3161, 3162, which is basically we're allowed to do a recount if we suspect the potential for fraud or errors. And what we cited in the case was, hey, they couldn't sort out what the vote was for a good part of a week or more, and they didn't certify the vote for quite some time. We filed it timely. By law, we're required to get the recounts, but he didn't rule on the statutes that we requested and didn't even mention the statutes, didn't mention any case law, didn't mention anything other than, hey, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to allow it. There are other peculiarities that, we had a motion for litigation hold. And what that is basically to protect the evidence, protect all the election materials. Now, that's supposed to be done as a matter of course under the law. If you have a litigation filed, then they're supposed to hold that evidence until the court case is resolved, or there's statutory requirements to hold the election materials for primaries. I think it's 10 months, and for federal elections, it's 22 months. So the statutes that require that materials be kept. He didn't sign that order. He didn't even consider that motion. He didn't consider a motion for reconsideration to reinstate me. He removed me from the cases. because I wasn't a Fayette County resident. When by statute I don't need to be. I need to be a elector or someone who resides in Pennsylvania. So he knew that, and we put that in the reconsideration. Didn't do that. So he didn't cite a statute. Doesn't cite the law. Doesn't cite, doesn't resolve the motions for litigation hold and to protect the election materials until we can sort this out. So we filed an appeal. The appeals were filed yesterday for the 2 November cases, the November 2023 elections. We filed a notice of appeal with the Commonwealth Court, and then today we filed a notice of appeal for the May 2023 recounts. We'll be moving forward with those through the Commonwealth Court, and what we're finding is something else that's going on in Fayette County right now and in Delaware County and Chester County is a thing called logic and accuracy testing. And that is to, basically to make sure that the machines are running certified code and safe to run our elections. And both in Fayette County and here, they won't allow any observation. They're required to test all the machines. Now, we have 1,100 machines here in Delaware County. And they said, well, we're only going to test 9 that they picked out. And they refuse to let us see the hash codes. What a hash code is, it's a fingerprint. And there's a number. It's usually an 80-character number, alphanumeric, and it's on the Election Assistance Commission's federal website. It's on the Dominion site. It's on Hardage Civic. These numbers are public information, so that when you run the hash code test, you can compare the fingerprint and verify that the software is in fact genuine. They won't let us see those hash codes. They won't let us see the LNA testing. They denied entrance from one of the observers today. I'm not going to get into that and say it. But in Delaware County, we have a number of observers there, and they turned all the machines around, the 9 machines, and they turned them around, and they won't let them observe. They won't let them photograph. They won't even let them, get within 20 feet of them. So this is a significant concern. And what it boils down to is, for the last 3 years, there has been no meaningful observed recount and audit in Pennsylvania of any election anywhere in the state.
And the only one
None.
The only one that has taken place is the 6 precincts that I did this spring.
And exactly.
we found out that there was 41 errors in them 6 precincts, and then we got shut down because we thought, well, we would be within the 0.5% that we needed to be to get the whole county, and we've been battling this back and forth ever since.
Exactly.
So, Greg, we're going to file tomorrow. Where?
We're going to be filing a federal suit. We're going to actually file 3 federal suits, 3 separate suits. The first suit says that they are no county in Pennsylvania, none, are properly testing the machines in accordance with the requirements of the federal and state regulations, including the Secretary of Commonwealth's own certification program, meaning every machine that's used in Pennsylvania is certified by the Secretary of the Commonwealth. In order to maintain that certification and be allowed to be used in the elections, they all have to be tested in a certain way. Nobody is doing that. None of the counties are doing that. In fact, they came out with a new procedure. Actually, they gave it out to us last week, but it was dated March 7th, and that's not being done anywhere. So we can't get them to test the machines properly. They refuse to. We can't get them to do recounts. So this federal suit, the first federal suit is going to be, you're not allowed to use the machines. Okay, it's simple law. And the excuse they've been using has been, well, it's impossible to test them in accordance with the standards. It doesn't matter. If the law says you have to test them to a certain standard, and if you don't, you can't use them. It's very, very clear, black and white. The second lawsuit we're filing is a strategic mooting, and it's basically public corruption and a denial of civil rights lawsuit that is going to alliterate all of these cases that we've been filing for 3 years, including Fayette County for the last year, for election transparency. We're allowed to have recounts. They won't give them to us. These are all being coordinated, what we've learned, through investigations and multiple lawsuits, right-to-knows, FOIA requests. These are being coordinated by Governor Shapiro. I wrote an article about this, and it's in the Intelligencer.today. You can go there and you'll see Shapiro's Big Lie, Intelligencer.today. You can go there, full article. I think, John, you put it on your website. I think it's on the WMBS website. You can go through that article. So first lawsuit, can't use the machines because you're not testing them correctly. Second lawsuit is there's been a systematic interagency collaborative effort to obstruct visibility and transparency for our elections, and a refusal across the board, to allow us to have honest elections. And then the third lawsuit we'll talk about later, but that's going to be a federal whistleblower suit and a state whistleblower suit, and it's going to be a whistleblower lawsuit. That's going to be astounding.
Just so everybody knows, it's since we're sitting in Fayette County, we'll start out with Fayette County, Delco County, Berks County. Do I have that correct?
Berks, Berks.
Yeah.
Berks,
Bucks.
Lycoming, Lackawanna.
Lackawanna, and Lancaster is coming on board now.
Lancaster, Pike, York. I mean, there's a lot of people who will be coming on board.
Yeah, and so I just want people to understand that this isn't. Actually, me and Geno were probably given a gift that we weren't elected. We were probably given a gift that we weren't elected county commissioners, right? But anyways, it was maybe it was something greater than what we understand, because from what we're finding out and things we're going through right now. But anyways, it's just not. And we have Butler County. Is it Butler County and Beaver County, and probably Westmoreland County and Washington County coming on board with all this when we go to the federal level. So we're getting a big chunk of the state now. So we're not trying to. We're just not doing something right here in Fayette County. It isn't just about Fayette County. It's about the state of Pennsylvania. And Greg, I hate to. We got so much to cover today, and but
I'll let you go. I appreciate you having me.
Thanks for the update, Greg.
But we'll keep it. We'll do another update on Friday, because I know there's going to be more news coming by Friday, and with what you just said with the whistleblowers, it's this is going to be bigger than anybody can imagine.
So thank you very much. I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Greg.
Great.
Okay, Yep. Take care. Okay, Geno. I got you in here. We got so much stuff going on in the county right now. We understand that.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Do we want to start out with we're understanding that there's only $2 million right now.
The county financially is really up against it. That old saying that the chickens are coming home to roost. We're seeing that live. We're seeing the wheels come off the wagon, right now. So it's my understanding.
You predicted that.
Was that?
You predicted that before.
Oh yeah. It's kind of inevitable. You can't do all this massive expansion and not run out of money. If you start shopping for Christmas or a holiday and you just keep going, well, my wife has a birthday party coming up and we have to budget for it. If there's no budget, there'll be no end to the amount of money we're spending. Yeah. And it is a very significant birthday, and then I owe her a big birthday. She threw a wonderful 50th birthday for me and not let me forget it. So it will be a great party. But what has happened, and this didn't just happen last year, the year before, but there's been a long-term pattern going back at least the last 8 years or so. Fayette County's just spending money like a drunken sailor. All this expansion and growth, and the population shrinking, the tax base is shrinking. What little tax base there is amongst corporations that have traditionally could be picking up some of the. I mean, if you look at South Union hasn't raised their township taxes in, 30-plus years or something? Well, that can happen there because of the businesses are flourishing. But that can't happen for the rest of the county because they keep giving these big corporations these huge tax breaks, these LERTA breaks and things, and they've created no net gain for the county in the way of jobs. For every job that's created, you hear the commissioners always talk about all the jobs in Fayette Penn. We're creating jobs. The reality is, at the end of the day, we're still losing population. We're losing jobs. They're just shifting them around, and these companies aren't paying their fair share, and it's all falling back on the property owners, and we got a big thing going down in Collinsville now about that.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Whenever a company comes in and they give them the LERTA tax break, right? Do they have to stay a certain amount of years past that? And what is the average
Well, everyone's different, but here's what happens in the philosophy is you give the company a tax break, they'll come and they'll produce new jobs in a county, and then they'll have payroll tax, and you weigh that out, and it's a net gain, and that is true in some counties in some situations. At Fayette County, though, we don't have people aren't moving here; they're moving away, and they're dying off. Our population's going down. So now, when a widget factory comes in, you say, "Oh, we want a widget factory, and we're going to give them a big tax break." Guess what happens? The widget factory comes in with this big advantage. They give them a new building, they give them tax incentives. But then the other factory that was here, the thingamadoodle factory that people have been at for 10 years, all their workers go from that factory to the new factory. So by these tax breaks aren't growing the county. It's easy math. Our commissioners are delusional. They think that we have growth, and what you're going to see in the very near future. So they didn't raise taxes this year. They haven't raised them in a little bit. They did early. Well, let's see.
2016.
Yeah, they raised them in 2016. Rather,
or was it 2020? Yeah, it might have been 2020.
2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was right when Scott. It was 4 years ago. Yeah. So because all three commissioners voted for the tax increase.
Yeah.
We had an election cycle. They did not want to vote for a tax increase, right? Which may or may not have been the responsible thing to do. I don't have access to all of that's happening, but they didn't do it. But they borrowed $11 million, and that wasn't as part of a tax anticipation note or anything like that. They borrowed that so they could just keep the wheels from falling off of government. And as of now, they I guess they got a new financial guru. They said they hired.
Well, basically, what they did, Gino, was they had a flat tire. So they, instead of trying to fix the flat tire they had, they took the air out of the other three. They took the air out of the other three. So now we're riding around on
four bad wheels.
Four bad wheels. Yeah. So I mean that's what they've caused.
Well, with the cost of the jail, the cost of the spending, but really the big millstone around our neck is the Gallatin Bank building. You've got Fay Penn buildings. Now, granted that they're not directly under the design of the commissioners, but you've got they've got that big building they built out near the airport. That building's huge. They don't even have a tenant for it. So they have that kind of surplus. Yet now we're scrambling. There's commissioners are scrambling out for money, and it's a scary time. Our financial advisor that we have now, who it's interesting about Sam Lynch. I mean, they reported he made a lot of money an hour and this and that, but Sam was let go 2 different times that I'm aware of, and they brought him back both times. They begged him to come back. So it's a very difficult job ahead. We'll see what's going to happen. See if they can pull it out. They hired a new financial person. I heard that she didn't even want the job when she realized what the situation was. I don't know if that's true or not, but we'll see. They advertised in the paper they hired someone, and I guess the consultant will be leaving. I don't know why they haven't filled that 8 years ago or 6 years ago or whatever, but I guess they're trying to do that now. But hopefully they can pull it out. I mean, I'm the last one I don't want to see anything bad happen to our county. I definitely don't want to see the taxes go up. But you can't keep giving away the farm. You can't keep growing and expanding. And that problems that we know about and hear about, they're going to expose themselves soon enough. The chickens are coming home to roost. I mean, that's really what's happening. And hopefully the medicine that we're going to have to swallow won't be so bad.
Yeah.
When we get through it as a county and get through it together.
Well, the thing of it is the jobs and good jobs is what corrects all this, without a doubt. We know that. And if we can bring some kind of major industry in, and actually Amazon should have been in Fayette County.
I tell you what, though, John, and I'm all for that, if we could hit a home run, but that's that Hail Mary pass, right?
I know, I get it.
But what we really need to do is revamp our planning and zoning and allow small businesses to flourish. We need to encourage small shops and businesses. And you do that by not raising taxes. You give these giant incentives that you're giving away to these one-shot companies that are coming in. Give it out to individuals. Give it out to farmers.
How about this, Gina? This might sound like somebody else's, but why don't we cut taxes across the board for everybody?
Right.
Why don't we think about that?
Taking the page out of the South Dakota governor.
Well, but I tell you what, they got it right out there. They got it right, and they're building They build a railroad. Nobody builds railroads. I mean, just
other
think
counties,
about it.
And I'm just tired of the excuse. If you point out anything bad, oh, you're a negative Nelly or whatever. Now we got to be realistic about where our problems are first.
Yes.
And then second, we got to get our heads out of the clouds with this craziness. You can't spend your way to prosperity, and we've got 3 commissioners that think you can. And guess what? The bills come and due.
Well, I was at the Connellsville school board meeting last night, their agenda meeting. I guess that's what you would call it.
The working session.
I was there last night. $84 million plus is the budget for the Connellsville school district right now, and I watched them put on the agenda. Now, that don't mean they're going to approve everything that was on the agenda, but it was millions and millions of dollars, and it might have all been worked out in the budget. But I'm thinking, they're talking about spending all this money, and it was like like me and you were talking about going to McDonald's and buying a double cheeseburger. I mean,
the population's going down. The schools are, this expansion of the schools and their budgets in some cases dwarf even what the county spends a year.
It does.
And we have to educate our kids. I mean, that's important.
I believe school teachers should be they should get a good wage. There's no doubt about it.
I think they should flip it. I think the administrators should get less and the school teachers should get more, right?
I don't know. Maybe
the people that are actually dealing with your kids, I mean, they deserve
the top end of the top end of the whole thing is you're right. It's wrong. It's the way it is.
The whole system needs rethought. And that's tough with the unions. The teachers' unions and the status quo and the different little fiefdoms of these school districts, but they do need to figure out a way to consolidate some of that administration stuff.
Yes, in my observation, there's a lot of schools that create unnecessary admin positions, and they pay them very well.
Well, yeah.
And I felt like there's a few that I've talked to that I've left the conversation thinking, what is their job if they cannot answer a simple question that I have that should be pertinent to what their knowledge base is? And so if you don't know how to answer my question and you don't come with a resolution but you come with excuses, why are you there? Your job is to come up with resolutions, not excuses.
Right.
So if my child has an issue with reading and he has an IEP for reading and you're getting extra money and your curriculum doesn't allow for my son to grow because it's failing him, what are you doing with the funding that you can't utilize that to help my son because you're getting it specifically for my son? So why isn't there different curriculums being looked at? Don't tell me it's government stipulations, because what are you doing? A regular kid, on average, there's $10,000 per student. A kid with an IEP gets, on average, twice that much. So if you're getting paid for 2 kids for my kid having an IEP, where are you spending the money that you're supposed to spend on him? And then you look at the administration and you're thinking, it boggles my mind. There's too many, we're too top heavy. And then when they're struggling to hire people because they're paying minimum wage and they're saying that they don't have money, where's your money?
They have it. It just needs reconfigured.
It needs to be organized.
Without a doubt.
It needs to be reconfigured.
Right.
Without a doubt.
Right.
Now, see, I went to a parochial school. I went to a Catholic school, asbestos around the pipes, lead paint, all that. Small classrooms, way underpaid teachers. They got paid less. And we got a great education, It's not the amount of money that you're spending. The focus has got to be more on the kids and the results. And we give the kids report cards. We need report cards for the teachers and administrators. There's got to be There's got to be more accountability.
Well, I think that school choice is right around the corner, because there was a notification sent home to the kids at Lafayette saying that if since the school is in the bottom 15% for reading and math, that there's some sort of law that's and there's some sort of law or act that gives you the right to look into your other options. And so whatever other schools participate in taking your kids, if your kids, I think if they do well on the testing, that you can take your kid out of the district that isn't doing well and you can look for another school that participates in the program and put them there. And to me, that's like a gateway into school choice. And so if that's where it's going, then these schools are going to have to figure out how to really appropriately spend their money and use the funding for the kids, because if not, then the people are the parents that understand what is happening, they're the kids that that score higher on tests for the most part. They're going to start pulling their kids and looking for schools that are going to give their kids the education that they deserve.
Well, and even like part of the broader problem that we have here in Fayette County, with these schools are getting more and more expensive to run, and some of that, I mean, there's a lot of blame to go around. You can't just blame like the unions or the school boards or whatever. We just have other costs going up too. And that's critical because, that's the big hit everybody takes on their taxes, the school portion of it. Then you got the county taxes. The county has been doing a good job with their money, and we're about to see that. That's going to be painfully evident.
Yep.
Right? And we've crippled our fire companies. And at some point, I hate to say this, but I don't even know how some of them are hanging on. And they save us so much money, like from with our taxes. If we had to have, but you got to have fire service. Like, if you don't, things are going to start to crumble. And we're unfortunately at the end. We're seeing the house of cards is starting to crumble, and that's going to create more tax. That's not going to be advantageous for businesses to come here. So we've got to be more responsible with the money. The school board's got to do better, and the teachers and the unions all have to have adult conversations of what we can afford and how we got to do things. And we need to get our commissioners reined in this spending.
Well,
and that's our only shot.
Yeah, but we the people need to start getting involved.
They need to step up before it's too late. And it is easy to just leave. I mean, right? That's what most people do.
Yeah.
We see that people they're taking their money out of the county to spend it. They're moving out of the county, and they're taking their kids out of the county. I know of at least 3 people that put it right in their wills. Their kids cannot stay in Fayette County, or they get nothing.
I left the county. I mean, a lot of people, like I said, thought that I was bitter because I didn't make it on the school board, and that's not the case. I looked at who was left behind, and I thought, nobody cares about those kids more than I do. Nobody's going to advocate and fight for those kids more than I do. And if nobody is looking to make resolutions to the problems, and they're just going to make excuses, or they're going to get along, or however that saying is, I'm not going to deprive my kids of opportunity.
You have to put your family
first.
Yeah.
Right?
We got to get to some other stuff here. By the way, there's a school board meeting tomorrow night. It's I believe it's 7:00 in Connersville. If you want to attend, everybody, it should.
I went down there at least. To poke your head in. In some ways, those are the most important decisions. That's really going to affect your taxes and your bottom line.
Exactly.
So please go and weigh in.
So now we're back to something else. We wanted to get to
Well, John, as usual, our local newspapers have let us down. So for those of you who are familiar, we fought these injection wells back, before the election, and we were successful with a lot of other people. We put a lot of pressure on the EPA and on G2 STEM, and they pulled their permit. And I'm not going to complain because, to the victors go the spoil. The commissioners jumped in on the bandwagon after we got some things rolling. I like to think we put some pressure on them. And they all did some stuff. Our politicians stepped up. We had an emergency meeting, none of which was covered by the conventional press here right in little old Fayette County. And they spun it, and the commissioner said they were going to do everything they could to ban injection wells.
Everything they can.
Everything they can. Now, I will tell you this. They have done some good stuff. I mean, I'm going to give them credit where it's due. They created some ordinances. You can't zone them out, right? But they just didn't go, far enough. And it sickens me how the newspaper jumped on, and everyone jumped, including a lot of the environmentalists. Hey, good guys, you guys, look what you did, and they're leading the charge like they did some great things, but. I tell you, when you really look, the devil's in the details, and I apologize that I wasn't there, and I hope they just overlooked some of this stuff. But they are allowing and permitting injection wells in Fayette County.
Wow.
And they have to do that. I mean, because you got to have, if you have zoning, you have to allow for the use. Now, they can put those in certain areas to make them restrictive. And their new ordinance is going to allows them with a special exemption hearing in the industrial zones and commercial zones with a special exemption. Now, that's a special exemption is a nice zoning tool. If they would have made them all special exemptions, then every time that someone wants to put one in, then the public gets notified. However, without a special exemption hearing, they decided it would be okay to allow some of these wells in areas zoned industrial and in commercial.
In agricultural.
And permitted just by use. So it just means that they are permitting them. That means there's no public hearing. Now, there's still a lot of hoops to jump through, but what I wanted to point out, to give you some comparisons, so let me just get the exact thing here in front of me. Okay, so you're allowed to put a class 1 through 4 injection well, 1 through 5. You need to have a special exemption, and that's the really bad stuff, and they're only allowed in M1 and M2. So your industrial areas, that makes sense, but you have to have a hearing for that. But in injection wells class
5 and 6.
5 and 6,
yeah,
which is it's still bad stuff. This is not stuff you want to drink. They are permitted in A1, meaning if you can meet the requirements, and there's some tough. They did, which to their credit, they toughened that up. But you can also put them in commercial and A1. They're permitted without any public hearing, any public notice. If someone meets requirements, boom, they get the permit.
That isn't commercial. Isn't that conservation?
No, that's actually commercial. It's C. Surely that's not conservation.
Well, some of the conservation land is like.
If it is conservation land, that would be a real sin. But I think that's actually commercial.
Okay.
So, but anyhow, A1 zoning is most of the acreage is A1. So they can allow an injection well, class 5 and 4 are allowed at A1 with just a permit. Now, that is ridiculous. They could have very easily made that special exemption, then there'd be a public hearing. I think that was done intentional because I think they've already got plans. And they've done that to allow for that.
Well,
now,
I think we just get a couple gallons of that water and give each one of them.
The commissioners argue that that's safe. That water's not safe.
Let them drink it.
Now, let me go back to give you an example. If you want to put a sale and salvage operations, junk salvage, you can't put that anywhere in the county by permit. You have to get a special exemption no matter where you want to put it. And that's only allowed in industrial and in some limited cases in some ag. So if you want to have a junkyard, you got to have a public hearing. But yet you can stick junk and garbage down into the ground. No public hearing. So, all the smoke and mirrors and the PR crap and the spin.
Well, the problem.
This is the truth. This is stuff that gets done in the dark in a back room, and we don't have a press that covers it. And I'm not going to beat up the guys at the paper or whatever because they just go to the hearing, right? And they're just reporting on what they see. But it's right there in front of you. So, and a lot of other uses are not even allowed by permit anywhere in the county. You have got to have a special exemption hearing. Another one's a campground. You've got to have if you want to have a campground in ag, you've got to have a public hearing. But if you want to drill a hole and put injection waste down it, as long as you can meet the requirements, they did stiffen them up. But again, there's many sites that will meet those requirements.
And right now, they're not talking about doing any of the Marcellus wells because most of them are still producing. But they'll get around to that, and a lot of them are a lot of them are outside the 2,500 foot variance because they're out on the top of a hill somewhere where there's no permanent structures or no within what they call them protected structures. I think is
well,
you know
what this reminds me. You ever see that game with the pill and the shells?
Yeah,
that's all this is. This is a big shell game. You're still allowing them in, and now which I get that their talking points are correct. You have to have them allowed to, but they could restrict everything to special exemption, and at least we'd have a public hearing and we could fight them one-on-one. This with a permit, there's no fighting. You have no say. If the landowner meets the requirements, boom, it's in. And this is the kind of use. But that same landowner couldn't put a junkyard in, which is an easy reversible thing, No, and here's the other thing. Who in the heck is going to monitor what's coming in these trucks? You think you can trust these companies? You can't trust them. You couldn't trust them in East Palestine. That railroad, they broke all kind of rules. So you're just, if no one's going to be there, you just got to, they could have done a lot better job actually on it. And now comes the real blowback. I think that they even wrote these so that they could be challenged in court and beat pretty easily. I just looked, and this just came out on March the 25th, so this is really new stuff. Yesterday. The Marcellus Drilling News. The headline in that article, in their publication, is Fayette County, this is Fayette County, Pennsylvania, adopts illegal wastewater injection well ban. So the industry's getting ready to fight it. They're talking about boycotting Fayette County. They're talking about shutting down wells. So I hope the commissioners took all this into account as they're proceeding with this. So is Fayette County in southwestern I'm just going to read this one paragraph. Is Fayette County in southwestern Pennsylvania with some 333 drilled and active shale wells as the end of last year turning against the Marcellus industry perhaps, and perhaps drillers will want to give the county a pass for future development following an unnecessary and illegal ban against wastewater injection wells passed last week by the 3 commissioners. Now, I'll go on the record, I'm against these injection wells, period. Now, we're going to see what the commissioners are made of. Are they going to stand their ground when the gas company comes knocking in the next few weeks and starts to challenge some of these ordinances?
Well, it's the residuals that the townships are getting from what do they call that money?
Well, the impact money.
The impact money that these townships are getting. If you think we're in financial trouble now,
listen, it's a perfect storm.
And if you take
financial ruin for our county,
you take all that away from these townships, it's going to get really bad.
Yeah, so it's going to be real interesting to see how we move going forward. The Marcellus Drilling News also, Charity Grimm is working on a bill that'll restrict, if not ban, injection wells throughout. She's getting a lot of flack. They've openly said that they would fund a primary.
Yeah, they did.
Candidate against her. I hope that doesn't happen because she's at least trying. But let's be honest about what's happening here. I think it's pretty obvious the commissioners took this and turned this into a big PR campaign, and they're not telling the truth. Same thing as the jail. We had to listen to all those lies. But guess what? All that stuff that's been done in the dark in the back rooms, it's all coming to light. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be exposed in the next few months, but not by anyone's effort other than it's just the trajectory we're on,
It just amazes me.
It never ends the way. The way they spawn this whole injection well issue from the beginning, the way they spun the new jail and all the problems up there.
And there was two. Like I said, we did it. We put it out there. 100 times probably.
In fact, we need to look into what we pay our PR firm, because a PR firm is not something I think you need.
In Fayette County?
I think you just need to do a good job and let the people, they spend a lot of money. I'd like to know what it is. I would suspect it's several $100,000, but, that's going to be the subject. I'm making a note now of the next right to know request. As we have a slew of them getting ready to go in. But folks, you're going to see it. The wheels are coming off now, and
with this injection well, we don't need this toxic waste, and we
don't.
If it would be one thing if this was developed here in Fayette County, if we were doing something and we had to correct the situation and we had to clean it up.
This is waste from outside. And let's be honest
from what I understand,
let's be honest about the gas industry. Those impact fees are a fraction of how they actually impact us. Our wealth is being stripped out from our soil, and
just like the
coal, and it's going to foreign concerns. Our coal is going to China out of this region. Our gas is going to the European companies that own most of this. This isn't like, we say, well, it's ours. No, it isn't ours. We sold those mineral rights off a long time ago. And if they want to come get it, we are in a position, the commissioners should tax that. Within reason. You don't want to break their back, but we'll see. We'll see if they're going to really stand up.
They're taking all that stone out of Bullskin Township right now.
Again, that should be taxed. That's a German company.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got foreigners just raping our land.
There's 200 years of coal we're still sitting on. That sooner or later that somebody's going to come get. And like you say, we don't even have a power plant now that we can ship it to because,
Industry's all but dead. We just don't have a population to sustain a workforce. The industry that looks at us, they come and they say, well, where do you get the workers from? You know,
where you get the workers from, and where are we going to send our kids to school?
Where are we going to invest our money? Where are we going to send them to school?
Where's the
we are
quality
seeing
school
the
around here?
decay. I mean, we really got to be fighting against it. And everyone's got their head in the sand.
Yeah.
Oh, everything's
Yeah.
great. We heard the commissioner say how strong our financial position was. Why are we borrowing money short term, $11 million? And then we're already down to like $2 million. Rob Rose reported at the last commissioner meetings before last that we had about $2 million on hand. Was that the $2 million that was left over from the $11 million loan? I mean, right? You borrowed $11 million.
Well,
you're kiting checks.
You got tax money coming in right now. So is that part of that tax money that's coming in for this year?
I tell you what, it's scary, and I do hope, and I wish the best for the county, and I know that we need good financial management. I don't know if it's the best time to get rid of our financial consultant, but I think they've already committed to doing that, and I hope they have a plan. Let's put it that way.
Oh, they have a plan. They have a plan.
I just hope it's not a plan like with this injection well. I hope it's not a plan to sell us a bunch of lies and spin and not address the real problem.
You got to give Dave Lord credit. He made mention in that meeting. He said, because I read it, he said that he wants to keep this injection well water poison out of our county. I mean, he really does.
Well, one thing they could have done, they could do that they haven't done, and they could even amend it. They could make any injection well that application public information. They didn't know when it came the first time. It was a big secret. The tax collector from Dunbar Township told us, and we found out this. They asked, "Oh, we just found out when you did."
Well, if we had,
they could make that public information by just making every injection well a special exemption hearing. Just like with junkyards. Well,
we got that
salvage yards.
Yeah, and if Mary Grace hadn't got a hold of us, and it was like late at night, she says, "John," she says, "this is going on," and I give her credit. She stands her ground.
I tell you something. I haven't worked for a little bit in county government, but I have never seen so many backroom deals and catch window. I mean, everything from election stuff to the planning and zoning stuff, these injection wells, the finances, the jail. You know, their talking points just aren't true. They just aren't true, and that's all going to be exposed. I mean, they can only hide from that a little bit longer. It's all coming to pass.
Okay, Gino, we got to close up, and I'll tell you what. One thing I do want to thank. I want to thank the 12 firemen that run Haydentown Volunteer Fire Department. We had a big event out there the other night, and I think everybody had a really good time. I started the show out with this from Proverbs 31:9. I'm going to have to get my glasses fixed. But anyways, it's speak up and judge fairly. Defend the right of the poor and the needy. Okay, we're going to close up the show like we always do. Well, on this road called life, you have to take the good with the bad. Smile when you're sad, love what you got, and remember what you had. Always forgive, but never forget. Learn your mistakes, but never regret. People change. Things go wrong. Just remember the ride goes on. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless America. This is Jon Marietta, and I am the Hillbilly.
Right now we have light rain and 55 degrees outside our Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law Studios at your local station, WMBS Uniontown, Pennsylvania. CBS News at 5's on the way next. Good afternoon.
This is CBS News.